here. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. You're welcome. You're welcome. You can respond in the chat. Feel free to respond in the chat or use the reactions. Like, let this be a very energetic room. All right. Good evening. Good evening. You're very, very welcome to this March edition of My Coffee, My Corner. So great to have everybody on the call. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, big sis. I see you on the call. Okay. Auntie Alero, so good to have you. So beautiful. Okay, I see
It's good
Ade,
to
big
see
sis.
you.
Yes, thank you. Always a pleasure to see you, Alero. I see Ade Dotun, Ade Joy, Ade Ronke. Auntie Amaka, Amina, Christiana, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining the call. I won't be able to mention everybody's name, but we appreciate each and every one on the call. I see Derry, Fatima, I see Kome. Hi, Kome. I see Mary Agun, then Mary Akimbami, Oladuni, Olariwaju, Olufumike. Pearls was with us last month. I cannot forget that. I see Princess as well. Then there's someone called Zoom user. If you can change your name to your actual name so we can know who is on the call. I see Osai who dropped a message. Thank you so much, everyone who has joined this call tonight. You are welcome. My Coffee, My Corner is a virtual ministry, right, designed to bring women into their kingly authority, right? Started off about 4 years ago, right? And so far, so good. We have had conversations that are very relevant, conversations that don't usually happen everywhere else, right? Conversations. One of the themes that we looked at was pain to purpose. That's about 2 years ago, and that was such a fantastic conversation. We had the likes of Adiamanka Chikambono, who is currently on the call right now. And last month, we looked at the marriage relationship and enduring love. We talked about that under the theme Rehoboth. And this month we'll be looking at another beautiful, beautiful topic, which I would leave for our host and Evening to come and speak about. So yes, once again, you're very welcome. This is going to be a very interactive one. So don't think that you're going to be on here and just be quiet all through. No, feel free to react in the chat. If something resonates with you, drop it in the chat. Let's know. We see you, we hear you. When it's time to ask questions, please drop all of your questions, right? And feel free, like, get your coffee, right? This is my coffee, my corner. So just go brew a cup of coffee and just come sit here, and it's like you're in your living room, right, with your besties. So yes, get ready to have deep and insightful conversations tonight. So I will be handing over to Auntie Yedin to introduce our conversation for today and our guest as well.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. We're all warmly welcome to another edition of My Coffee, My Corner. And as usual, we thank God for another month. And I would say this particular edition is quite interesting. And that's because I believe it's a topic for the moment. And so in January, as we started the year, I began to study the book of Job again. And this is a book in the Bible that I've at least maybe twice or three times gone over it front to back. However, this time around, it just had a different impact, different meaning, understanding to this very topic of who is in your corner, which was coined after, my conversation with God. And he actually gave me this month of March to speak about this topic, for us to just, banter, talk about it. And as I sat with the team and we were talking, and, so many people had stuff to say about the fact that it's really a topic for the season. And quite a number of people, we've just had so much in terms of people talking about insincerity and things, things in that manner. All right. So I prayed about it, spoke to my mentor, Apostle Obi Paxari, who I'm not sure she's here. Today is her granddaughter's birthday. And, the whole of last year, my Coffee My Corner was not even in session at all. And she is one person who has been pushing, nudging, supporting, upholding, just trying to ensure. Because what happens to me, what has, happened in the past is that whenever I go through a challenge or a setback, I pull back from whatever it is I'm doing. And so she's one person who has been on my case, saying, no matter what you're going through, if God gives you a mandate, you stand by it, you obey, and just march forward. You have to keep moving, And so I decided to indeed obey that command. And that's why we're here today. And when God also responded to me regarding this topic, out of all the phenomenal, awesome friends, I must say that I have very good friends. I can't even, it can't be understated. If I've had issues with friendships, it's really minute in comparison to the friends that I've had from childhood. I've had friends as old as 40, 45 years. So meaning friends from elementary school, middle school, high school, university, and we're still friends today. Right? But we found that indeed, like the scripture says, that at the end times, the hearts of men will wax cold. So the hearts of a lot of us have indeed waxed cold. And so we see a lot of shallow, insincere relationships. We don't see many covenant relationships, sincere relationships anymore. And like I said, because I have exceptional friends, the Lord highlighted one person who is our guest speaker today. And, I know that a lot of us, not just me, would like to hear how she has managed relationships, because she's somebody I know who also has friends who are as old as she is, so to speak. And she's an elder. So, so it would be nice to hear from her how she's managed those relationships. We have a lot of questions slated already, so she's not going to talk much because we want it to be interactive. So she's going to do a lot of listening and answering questions as well. Now, I'm going to give you an example of how she is to us. Auntie Alero, Auntie Besto, we call her. And she's Auntie Grandma to my children. Among so many things that I have experienced in our relationship with Auntie Alero, one thing stands out. Now, a lot of us on this meeting know that my husband and I, it took us a while to have children. And in the process, we had so many losses. But the loss that we had before Abigail, oh, I'm so happy Grandma Vika is here as well. Because the two of them were very instrumental to the story I'm about to share now. And so the last loss we had, which was a son that we birthed and died a few minutes after. In fact, so the three people I called, besides my husband who was in Nigeria and had to run to where I was, they're all on this call. So Auntie Alero, Grandma Vika, Pastor Abiolu Feinich, for those who don't know her as Grandma Vika, and Apostle Obi Pax Harry. And the three of them responded almost exactly the same way. However, Auntie Alero did something that till today, till forever, I would say, just, I couldn't believe it. In my state of shock, in my state of pain, all she said to me on the call was, okay, so which airport is nearest you? She flew all the way from Nigeria. In 24 hours, she was right by my side. And for me, how exceptional can someone be beyond that? No questions asked, no, oh, I'm so sorry. No, she just got on the plane and she was by my side. So at the end of this conversation, this particular edition, my prayer is that we all are able to choose right friends. We all are able to be surrounded by a community of friends, the ones that stand even closer than a brother. Now, there are a few scriptures that came to me besides the whole book of Job that I read. And, one big thing that we all know that Job's friend did wrong was literally they were just castigating the poor guy. He didn't ask for all of the things he went through. He was chosen by God, but they didn't do well. They started well because really going to sit by someone's side when the person is going through a lot is a good thing. So they went there. I want to believe they went there to support, to try and see how they could, because it was written that they were there with him for days, right? But along the line, things just got, really funny, and they started to point fingers, to say things they shouldn't have said, and so that didn't go well. However, we know on the other side with David, Jonathan was, like they say now, ride or die. He was ride or ride. No matter what the challenge, the circumstance, he stood by David, even against his father. So we need to know who is in our corner and how to manage relationships. Now, Proverbs 17:17 tells us in different versions. I'll start with the NLT, which says, a friend is always loyal and a brother is born to help in time of need. Now, the second part we're not discussing today. We're going to discuss that another day. Another version says, a friend loves at all times. And then the message says, friends love through all kinds of weather. Now, that word loyal, I would love for us to try and really know what it means. And it says, loyalty describes being steadfast, unwavering, faithfulness, and devotion to a person, cause, duty, or government. It implies being dependable, true, and supportive, often through challenges. So I've had, I'm just going to share one story today. I've had all kinds of, things. Now, this is loyalty. You're supposed to stick with the person through challenges. How much more when the person is in a place of celebration? So you hear things like amongst friends, somebody has succeeded, or something has happened, and they've succeeded in whatever that thing is, or they've earned a promotion, something worth celebrating. Let's just put it that way. And then you hear from a friend saying, "Oh, why is the person celebrating? What do they have to do?" And the person may or may not be privy to the backstory, because sometimes it's even the person is actually lying. They say, "Oh, the person earned this thing by." That shouldn't come from a friend. Your friend is rejoicing, rejoice with them. That's what the scripture says. When the person is going through stuff, if you can't help, please be quiet. If you pray for them, but it shouldn't come from you as a friend. They shouldn't hear it from you that you're the one broadcasting, saying things that you ought not to say about your friend. That means the person isn't your friend. I know someone who left a country because she gave me a scenario. She said she had gone for an event. She sat next to somebody who supposedly they were acquaintances. They were not friends. But the person was talking about someone she, termed her friend. And at the end of the day, she literally cussed the person out. And that person that she had just cussed out walked through the doors, and she jumped up, hugged her, gave her, kissed her, And then for her, she said it was just she was already thinking in her head that, this particular atmosphere is filled with fake, insincere relationships. And so she left. I mean, she left the country eventually, went somewhere else, and just shut everyone out. We shouldn't be such friends. That's not friendship. So on that note, I'm going to hand over to Auntie Alero to please share with us a few things that I know and believe will be beneficial to each and every one of us here this evening. God bless us all as we listen and participate.
Thank you very much, baby sis. Like I love to call you baby sis. Yeah, PED superstar. Can you hear me loud and clear? Is it loud?
Yes, we can. Yes.
And clear.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
If you need me to go louder, let me know. Okay. And if there's any cracks, let me know as well.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I want to first of all say thank you for your kind words. Thank you for tonight. And I think I need to confess that I tried to resist. If Yade will remember, I said, look, we enjoyed you and PED talking the other night. Why don't you have a third session? And she said, this is what the Lord said. And once you talk about the Lord and what he's asking, you cannot do otherwise. So it's my joy and it's a privilege to be here tonight. And I don't take this assignment lightly, because as Inyade was talking, I started feeling the weight of what we're doing this evening. I realized that we're not meant to be casual about this. And I'm trusting God that what he wants out of these conversations will be established. And why this is important is because as I was reflecting and I was thinking, why are we going to have this conversation? And we can keep it at a particular level, talking about friendships, but it's not about just friendships. It's about covenant relationships. And it gives me great joy. And I'm going to try very hard not to be emotional, to see some people on this call. The first person that I saw when I went to check who was on was Fatima, my friend from childhood. And then I'm glad that Abebe, because sis is here, very thankful. And I know that PED is beside his superstar. I wanted to just highlight this because I'm talking about what God has termed covenant relationships. And he says why they're important is because he uses these relationships to build his kingdom. So what makes them different from just ordinary friendships? But before I actually say what makes them different, there were three things he said that they're important. One, that you can't go to war with just anybody. You can't go through life, through the dark times, the difficult times with just anybody. That you can only go to war with people that you trust, people that are watching your back, people that will not disappoint you, people that will not disappear when you need them most, right in the target, right in the front line. And unfortunately, that was what Job's friends did. When I read Job again, I couldn't go through everything because of the intensity of the week. But you know, the three friends actually started well. They actually came and they said the right things at the beginning. But when they now thought of the magnitude of what Job went through, they started saying, you must have done something. No? You need to, something is at your foundation. No? And they started casting all sorts of aspersions. That was not what Job needed to hear at that time. He was going through a dark season. And when you go through dark seasons, you need people who are going to speak love to you. You need people who are going to envelope you with care and compassion. You need people who, when they sit, they don't have to say a word. You know, when you go to someone who is grieving, you don't have to say anything. Don't even say, we have a joke, because sis and I, Abibi and I, that when you go to somebody who is grieving, there's nothing worse than saying it is well. It is not well. I remember when I was going through my darkest season, anybody who said it is well, it is not well when you're going through a dark season. So there are some phrases that are just casual. When you've gone through loss of a loved one, of a parent, you know there are some things you don't have to talk. Just sit. Just sit. And so now let me now say the 3 reasons so that we can lay that foundation. 1, you can't go to war with people you don't trust. You go to war with people that have your back. God uses covenant relationship to build his kingdom, to establish the new. Because you need the strength of covenant relationships to go through life, not to give up. And so as I began to meditate on that, I said, okay, Lord, tell me, what are the keys of nurturing such friendships, of maintaining, nurturing, and keeping those relationships strong? And he gave me an acronym. You know, many of you know I like acronyms. I love acronyms. And the acronym I got was SALT. Some of the letters were easier than others. But he said the first one, when he said SALT, was the first one. And I know most of you will guess it. Sacrificial love. Covenant relationships thrive on sacrificial love, unwavering love, unquestionable love, deep-rooted love. And that love, you are first of all rooted in God, and then you have a love for one another. Starting with Fatima, we went to the same secondary school, Queen's College. And Fatima, I hope you don't mind if I say this, she was a bit troublesome, a bit troublesome. And when she gets into trouble, I will defend. I will say, no, I will try and defend her. And then she will try and defend me. We just used to get into trouble. And we used to gist, oh my word, gist on the phone for hours. What we're talking about, I don't know. And I remember when my father will come into the room, and if he sits in the room and for 30 minutes I don't talk, he said, I'm sure you're talking to Fatima. And I will say yes. There was a day that we were outside on Ayida-Otobo Mountains till after 1 a.m., sitting on a car. In those good old days, now I cannot sit outside in Ayida-Otobo Mountains outside on the street beyond 8 p.m. But those days was after midnight, and we had no idea our husbands were looking for us. Next minute, we saw 2 husbands show up. What are you people doing here? You would have thought we couldn't stay in our homes. We were gisting in the car. And we did a lot of travel together. We went on holidays together. It created a bond. And I think, was it 2024? She came and spent, was it 10 days? And sat with us in London. During the darkest hours, Efena's paralysis, Vicar says did something very unusual. The first month we were in America, she flew to America with us. She stayed with us in the beautiful hotel. God in his kindness knew that we needed therapy. So he gave us a very beautiful hotel. I'm sure, Abebe, you remember. But one thing that Abby did was that everywhere we went, she did all the driving. She refused to allow me to drive. She did all the cooking for an entire month. She refused to allow me to cook. I'm giving these illustrations so that you will know that it is sacrificial love. It's not let us gist and then gist some more and then let us do, what should they do now? We go to a party together. No. Even it's not even just read the Bible together. No. It's beyond that. It's not just praying together. Action. Sacrificial love. And then also what I've experienced with Superstar's husband, PED. I could go on and on. And the scripture, and I saw someone put it, I like the Passion Translation, and I'm going to read it, Proverbs 18:24, before I tell you what the rest of SALT stands for. It says some friendships don't last for long, but there is one loving friend. But there is one loving friend who is joined to your heart closer than any other. And Jesus, our Lord and Savior, had such friends, the three that were close to his heart. The one, John, the one that disciple that Jesus loved, put his head on the heart of Jesus. The three of them that went on the Mount of Transfiguration. The 12 disciples. And it's important that these friendships are nurtured. Because if you don't nurture and you don't protect them, it's like a plant. They will die. Trust me. They will die. And you know why? Because such covenant relationships are often attacked. They don't just leave you alone. No. The kingdom of darkness attacks those relationships. So if it is not rooted in sacrificial love, it's not going to thrive after the attack. So the next question, are you ready to fight for every covenant relationship that God gives you? Because there's a purpose for that covenant relationship. So you have to protect it. You have to fight for it. So what do you think A is? Before I tell you A, because I only got A today, this has been in my thoughts since almost the beginning of the week. And I got L, I got C, and there was no A. And I said, God, it's an acronym, please, Lord. It's an acronym. I need an A. What is an A? I thought and thought and thought. I said, then why don't you just pray? So I prayed. I said, God, please, what is the A? What is the A? And then I got it. But because I got it last, I'm going to come back to it last. The L, God said, you need to learn how to be a love rapper. Rapper as W-R-A-P-P-E-R. L, love rapper. So S is sacrificial love. And what is a love rapper? And I wondered myself, I said, Lord, what's a love rapper? I know there's some dark seasons when a friend may go through a major challenge. It could be indiscretion. It could be shame in the office space where they're accused of something that they didn't do. Or they did it, but it was just in error. And I worked in the banking industry, and I can think of a few examples. Even when I was asked to leave UBA, when they asked me to do a wrong, to modify a document, and I said, no, I cannot modify that document because it's wrong. And they said, if you do not obey, you will go. And I said, I will go. I don't need this job. That was shame. But there were friends that stood closer than a brother. And what they did, a love wrapper covers so that no one sees your shame. A love wrapper protects so that your dignity is preserved. A love wrapper does not attack when you're most vulnerable. So the question is, when have you told people off, friends that considered you a covenant friend, and instead of protecting, instead of covering, you've opened them up to even more shame and more ridicule? So God tonight is saying, are you a love wrapper? The T is traveler, fellow traveler. You know, this journey is a journey of life. When Iyade talked, you know, that was why I got a bit emotional. Iyade, you won't believe, when you gave that example, the illustration of me coming to visit you just as you were coming out of the hospital, it shook me and surprised me. I can't explain it. Because your hubby, you know, you have many names for him. He was actually the Abuja. And I had a dream that night that he was in Abuja. We talked. You know, my home in Abuja was a home that and people could come and stay. God bless that home, Ancestors Court. Beautiful 3-bedroom apartment, high ceilings that Espin they got for me. I was an international consultant. I was Nigerian, no, but somehow by God's grace, they classified me as international consultant. So they gave me a flat in my own country. And I loved that flat. But I was the only one. And I turned one of the rooms into a guest room. So I had people like Pastor John Enelama, Executive Director for AIMP. Whenever I came to Abuja, he would stay there. My brother Sheyin, because he didn't have a place at that time, would stay there. I had different people passing through, and then I had a wonderful housekeeper who, even when I wasn't there, I had trained her to look after any guest that was there. So that night, PD and I had finished talking. We had prayed. I went to my room and I had a dream. And in that dream, I saw Iyade losing the baby. I woke up shaken. I didn't have the temerity or the guts to tell PD about the dream. So I went down on my knees and I prayed. I said, God, have mercy. I said, God, you can't do it. Oh, God, there can't be no loss. Because I knew this was about either the 3rd or the 4th loss. And this baby, we had been waiting for it. We were thankful this baby was almost close to term. And it was like, what? Lord, don't do this. Well, no, not the Lord that does it. Sorry. Don't let this happen. But it happened. And I watched PD trying very hard to hold it together. And I think your passport was somewhere, I wasn't sure, with one of the 8, what do they call it? Where passports are kept, High Commission or Embassy. Anyway, next minute I heard the Lord say, go. Go right now, just go. And you know, that's one of the reasons why provision is important. Provision is not, let me buy a new bag, a new pair of shoes. Provision is not for elementary. No. Provision is to help you fulfill God's purpose, is to help you obey instructions. That if you didn't have provision, you'll be challenged. The reason why I could fly was that I had the provision and I could go. And if I didn't, I know that I would have asked someone like Fatima and she would have given me. So fellow traveler, and that's an example. And I went and I remember we would sit in the car and there would be silent tears coming down her face. PED would be trying to comfort her. It was a very sad time. But Pastor Obi came with a prophetic word. And that's the power of prophetic word. She came with a prophetic word that gave hope, that said another baby is coming. And I don't know how many months later, Abigail was conceived. And we have Abigail today. I think she's 13 years old, 13 years later. Only God. So fellow traveler, are you ready to go wherever the friend goes? Are you ready to go across the oceans, like some of the people have mentioned for your friend? I remember during the darkest hour, Bolaji, God bless you. She sent me a word. I said, God asked her to do this, to raise money. And she said, I want your permission to do so. And I said, go ahead. And Bolaji, together with other people, single-handedly raised $30,000. Bolaji, thank you again and again. So I'm not speaking from, oh, I love my friend, they're wonderful. They made themselves lovable. So now you're wondering, fellow traveler, love rapper, sacrificial love, what is A? And God said A is for anchor. I know when an anchor holds a ship down, you stay steady, steadfast, unmovable. That's what covenant relationships do. They keep you anchored. When the seas, the storms are raging around you, you're going through difficult times, the anchor comes and holds you and keeps you in place. Fear not, because I am with you, says the Lord. And the covenant friend ensures that you do not fear, and they stay. And it takes loving effort. It's not a casual, let me just touch base when I have the time. No. But as I was reflecting on this, on SALT, S-A-L-T, a thought also passed through my mind, and this is where I'm going to stop. What kind, when you said, Yinyade, Job's friends, are you like Job's friend? The way you captured it was profound. Then I heard the Lord saying, but what kind of friend was Job? So we look at Job's friends, but what was Job? How was Job as a friend? And Job as a friend, the reason why Job was a good friend was that he trusted God wholeheartedly, totally dependent on God, devotion to God, wholehearted commitment to God. So first of all, you need to be a Job. Because if you're not a Job, when disruption comes to your life, unexpected happens in your life, you better be like Job. And Job also knew that nothing happens to anyone unless God permits it. There's no loss you can experience unless God permits it. So because there's a deep understanding that God permitted it, you know that He will see you through. So there's no shaking. And one of the things that Job was also good at, if you're going to be a friend that covenant friends can love and rally round, your heart must remain there must be two components to your heart. The first one is your heart must be tender and not judgmental. Your heart must be tender and not judgmental. And many times, I think there's a lot of judgmental, if there's such a word, judgmentality, if there's such a word, amongst us. We pass judgment so quickly. We don't know the backstory. We have no idea what the person is going through. We may not know what the challenges are, because we all know how to look good when we come out, the external, but you have no idea what's going on in the heart, going on inside. So keep your heart tender as Job, and keep your heart not judgmental. And the third, Job's heart was a heart that wholeheartedly forgives. He had the capacity, he was able to forgive those friends that were judging him. So as in covenant relationships, you that wants to attract people that will be salt, it is good to have these qualities that Job had. Wholeheartedly trusting God, knowing that nothing happens unless God permits it. Being tender, not judgmental, and always willing to forgive. So thank you very much. I hope you got something from that. It's been a pleasure talking to all of you. Whoa, thank you.
Thank you so much, Auntie Alero. God bless you. Like I said, today is an interactive one, and it's just amazing. I almost got emotional as well. But yeah, God helped me and I held it together. Auntie Fatima, if you can hear me, I would like you to please say something about your childhood besto from secondary school. Please, would like to hear from you.
I was not as troublesome as how
ah,
I was not told. So if you say
I-
otherwise.
can we have your video on? Is it possible, Auntie Fati? Can we?
I'm playing with my hair.
Okay. So let's.
When you say with our
Alero,
hair,
you
you
know
don't
what
want
that
to.
means. I'll put it on
I
for a
know, I know.
second. I'll put it on for a second and take it off again.
Okay.
Where is it?
Okay.
So I won't even see how I look. I'm sure I look a mess. I'm sitting in my den.
It's
I know
okay.
that
Okay,
then.
after a very long day. I came back from Kaduna today. I went to see my mom over the weekend.
Okay.
So for those who don't know what I look like, this is what I don't think I actually look like this, but do I? I don't look like this.
No, you
Anyway,
don't.
okay. Okay, so first of all,
Mm.
let me say, I'll first of all thank Nyadi for
Yeah.
inviting me. And I think she invited me because she's aware of the bond and Alero and I have.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing I will say is that when she invited me and I went through it, I sort of got the feeling that it was going to be a faith-based meet. And so I need to put a disclosure here for everybody that, or whatever, for everybody here that is here, is I'm not a Christian. I'm actually a Muslim. But it is that is the miracle of my friendship with Alero. So for those who don't know, I am not a Christian. I'm not a apostle in the what is it? What's it? Alero,
In the
where's that
marketplace.
field?
Marketplace.
In the marketplace.
Apostle in the
I'm not
marketplace.
an apostle in the marketplace, even though I know most of them, and they're all very, very good friends. So I'll start with that. So the truth is, actually, Alero and I, our parents were friends. So that's how it starts. That will go back to there. Our parents were friends, but that was not the reason. That was not when my friendship with Alero blossomed. We also were in Corona school for a few years. Then my father had to go on a diplomatic posting, so I was moved into a boarding school. But then we met up again in Queen's College, and we struck a friendship. Now, why I want to say this, because even though we were family friends, none of our siblings are close like we are. Maybe Gubi and Mariam, but not like Alera and I. So I'll start that. I just wanted to put that out there to put the context of why this is special. So when I realized it was faith-based, I asked myself, do you want to join? Because you won't fit in. You won't be able to contribute at a level, that would be necessary. I'm not going to be able to quote Proverbs and Job and all that. So, but then I asked myself, look, it's about friendship. And Alera and I have been friends for so long. Both of us are people of faith, very strong faith. When Alero said she was getting emotional, I actually got emotional. Yeah, sitting here, because yes, Alero has been my longest friend. And when I say my longest friend, it's not that I didn't know people before her, but the emphasis is on friend. Okay. So even though we profess different faiths, one thing that I'm a firm believer in, which may sound a bit controversial in this context, is the definition of being a Muslim is one who submits themselves to God. So for me, all Christians are technically Muslims. I know this is controversial because you are submitting to the will of God. Let me say what I want to say, because you're submitting to the will of God. So I have no issues whatsoever. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just looking at all of us, and it is that faith in God that makes Alero so dear to me. She's so sincere. She is so God-fearing that she's the best friend anybody could have, because what you see is what you get. And our bond goes beyond the fact that, so Alero talked about us traveling. We've taken the wildest trips. I remember there was a time, I'll talk about one particular trip. we had just finished, no, we hadn't finished university. It was before university. I can't remember when it was. At that time, the airlines used to give, you could buy like vouchers from outside the country. So Alero and I bought vouchers of maybe 25 tickets on American Airlines from London or something to that effect.
Yeah, from London.
And we said we were going on an adventure. I remember Grandpa saying to us, his last words to us was, "I don't want to hear any story." He said he doesn't want any stories. We said, "Don't worry about it." So there we were, two young little girls hopped off onto the plane and decided we were going on the adventure of our lives. And one part of that adventure, so we had these free tickets that we could go anywhere we wanted, but the main part of the trip was we were going to do a trip down the west coast by Greyhound. Now, when we left home, we told our parents that we are going to fly to Vancouver and come down the west coast. Last minute, we decided we were going to ferry it or something. I'm even confused now. Anyway, Alero and I found ourselves in a ferry in the middle of nowhere. They had never seen Black people. They literally, when we were moving from one station to the other, people were coming out of their houses on the streets to look at the two of us lugging suitcases on the road. So anyway, we ended up, I remember at one point, some Black Coast Guard came to us and said, "What are we doing in this part of the world?" And we just looked at him. We now realized that if anything happened to us, nobody would ever know. Because
it was before
phones. Yes, now. And it just dawned on us, and we started crying. You remember, Alero? Like, if anybody kills us here now, nobody will ever know, because when we were leaving,
he warned us. He said, "You better get in before dark. Get indoors before dark."
That the Coast Guard, yes. He said, "What do you?" He said, "What are you to do here?" We said, "We're traveling." He said, "What, in this part of the world?" It was some island between Vancouver and Seattle. Anyway, it so happened that it was Ramadan. You remember, Alero?
Yeah,
and I was fasting.
Yes.
So there we were. Alero was cozy fasting with me because she wouldn't eat because I wasn't eating. So that is what friendship is about. It's the respect you have for each other. And when I talk about that, and I talk about it with all sincerity, the respect Alero had for my faith, which I hope was reciprocated, because there's nowhere I have not gone with the Ayidas. There's no church I haven't entered with them. There's no celebration that they have had that I have not been part of. Right? What?
There's a message. Somebody said who lives in Canada that Vancouver was the capital of KKK.
Was that? So Alero, you see now, they would have burnt us.
Vancouver was the capital of KKK in Canada. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Venerable.
And so this is the story. So I'm just telling you that I brought up this trip because of how wild it was, and also because it was a trip in which I had to fast, and Alero respected it. We did it as we went through that. But let me fast forward, because if I want to talk about me and Alero, I think you people will be here till next year. So that's that. And I met Emmanuel and Yade through Alero, made them my friends as well. Now, the essence, I think, of faith is being real. So I want to say this. I liked the part when Alero was saying it is well, the bit she said about it is well. I remember when a friend of mine who was a Christian lost her husband, Biodun Alero. And I remember everybody kept on coming in and saying to her it is well. And at first I was like, I'm not a Christian. Let me not go and put my foot in it. And then finally, I just came out and I yelled it. And I said, no, it isn't. Please. And people gave me this look, but I knew exactly what I meant. It wasn't a judgment. It was the realness of it. And that's what I want to tell this group. Alero is real. She's not, she's real. There's no other way to say it. You're sincere, Alero. I thank God every day for the friendship I have with you. Your parents adopted me. I have stayed in Grove End Road alone. Her home was my home. When I come to Lagos, I'm in Ido Martins, whether Alero is there or not. When I go to London, I'm at Grove End Road, whether Alero or her parents are there or not. I have even driven Alero's father's car and lost the key or broke the key, or I don't know what I did somehow, and I had to call, what's his name, Gary. Anyway, Alero said I'm troublesome, but I'm Derek. So all I'm just trying to say is that we've had a lifetime of
Wait,
friendship.
are you talking about his Rolls Royce?
No, it was the BMW. He rolled scare.
Oh.
I took the BMW. I wouldn't know how to drive a
Oh.
Rolls. It was that 7 Series, that gold BMW. Remember it?
Okay. Yes.
Do you remember
Yes.
I now decided
Yes,
to
I
take
do.
it out and went and locked it. And then it got towed. Exactly. I remember what happened. So I broke the key, then it got towed, and then I didn't know what to do. And then I called Derek, and Derek, anyway, let's leave that for another time. So I'm just trying to say, I'm glad I'm here because we're talking about friendship. We're talking about sincerity. We're talking about when I say Alero and I we were so much friends that even her parents recognized the friendship. So family holidays, there was always a seat for me. I would just get the information that I'm on the holiday. You know, when Abi was getting married, that's Alero's younger brother, and I came to Lagos, Grandma had made me the same clothes as Gubi and Alero. To tell you, that's the strength or the depth by which her parents considered me. Three of us wore the same clothes. Alero had relatives, she had cousins, you know, and I remember when Grandma died and there was going to be a funeral, Alero wanted me to wear the same clothes, and I said, no, not now. Grandma did it for me. I'm not going to do it. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Continue.
Remember, I think it was, I can't remember whether it was Grandma or Grandpa's funeral that you wanted me to wear the same as you and Gubi, and I said no. And I declined. And I said, no, Grandma did this for me. It's not for me or you. It was a grandma gesture, you know. So that's that. So all I'm just going to say is that we thank God for each other. I know it's going to be a lifetime friendship. Our friends, her children are my children. Kome is on this call. So Kome knows I have my own direct line to her. I have my own direct line to Ifena, nothing to do with Alero. And that's the way it goes. And I will just say one last thing. 2014 was a very, very difficult year. Alero and I experienced the hardest tests that we have had. I may not have to go into details, but that I could not be with Alero and Alero could not be with me was one of the hardest things. We spoke to each other all the time. Actually, I'll say what it is. My dear husband was diagnosed with cancer in January, and we left for the States. In April, Alero was planning to come and visit me, and then Ifena had an accident, and she was paralyzed. And I just didn't know what to do. My husband had stage 4 cancer. I couldn't leave him. So what then happened was in October of that year, the president decided to give my husband a national award. And my husband said, go, that go and collect it for me. And I'm like, how can I go? The thing is on Monday, you have surgery on Wednesday. He said, no, I want you to go. So I said, well, maybe it's because I'm going to get to see Ifena. So I came to Lagos. I booked my flight to arrive London early in the morning on Tuesday. So the event was on a Monday. I booked my flight to come early in the morning on Tuesday, to arrive Tuesday, British Airways, early in the morning from Abuja, and then take the evening flight because I'd be traveling backwards. I would still get to New York on Tuesday in time for my husband's surgery. Only for me to go check in. And the man said, where's your visa? I said, what do you mean, where's my visa? I have a 10-year visa. And he said, Haja, you don't have a visa here. Oh. I then realized that the passport that had my visa that had expired, I had left it in New York. So I already knew I was coming. The plan was I was going to go and surprise her. I just started to cry. I said, please, now I promise you I have a visa. The people were looking at me. I said to you, I promise you. I said, if you get there, they would let you in. There was nothing I could do. And that's how Alero and I, unfortunately, my husband passed. And Alero moved, we sort of crossed paths. She moved to America as I was moving back to Nigeria with my husband or with his remains. Anyway, so, but I'm just trying to say that even though we didn't see each other, she was my anchor. Alero, thank you.
Thank
Alero,
you, my dear
Alero,
father.
thank you.
Bless you. Thank
Come,
you. Thank you.
come, my child.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
So
for
for
the gift of
everybody,
friendship.
on this thing, you're talking about friendship. And I'm telling you, friendship comes from heaven. It comes from being a believer. It comes from faith. It comes from the fear of God. It comes from being sincere and being real with each other. It's not lip service. If it was
Yeah.
lip service, Alero and I will not be friends for the last 60 years. It's not lip service. It's something that's much, much deeper than that. So I'm going to stay till the end of the call. I'm glad, Yade, thank you for letting me talk. I was just going to listen because I said, now it will be Corinthians, then it will be Acts, then I won't be able to say anything. So thank you for allowing me to say something. I will not dare to quote the Quran here before you block me. Anyway, bye, 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 bye. Yeah, then please take this thing off me and call somebody else before I go out of line.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, Auntie Fatty. God bless you. We love you so much. Yeah. To further buttress how exceptional Alero is, anyone who is her friend is, you know, is your friend if you are her friend or her family. She's just awesome. And Auntie Fatima is such an awesome person as well. She's just from the first time we met her, my husband and it was just an amazing. She's a rare breed, I would say that. Like she said, even though she's of another faith, you can tell. She respects your faith.
Yeah, can we please move on from here?
Yeah, Auntie Fati, now let me talk.
Yeah, that was my dressmaker until she decided to leave the country.
I'm still your dressmaker.
When you come back.
That's exactly. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. God bless you, Auntie Fati. We love you so much.
And you too, Yande. And you too, past PED, as Alero calls you. And you too, PED.
Yeah, we love you. All right.
Okay,
There's questions, and so we have to move on further. I want Grandma Vika to speak as well, but I'm gonna make sure what I would do is I want her to question, even though there were questions for this long one on the chat. Howbeit, some people had sent questions before now. So, but I want Auntie Grandma Vika to speak and also attend to this question. Like I said, it's a long one, so I'm just going to try and abbreviate. Does a covenant relationship mean they won't hurt or disappoint you after some painful experiences? I've learned a lot, and I'm not changing my mind about trusting people. The Bible says man will fail you, but his love will always remain. So God already made it clear to be mindful when trusting human beings because of that. I don't really care for close relationships, friendships rather, since the Bible also reminds us that people are far from perfect. It also says to guard your heart regarding the point you mentioned about why fight for a relationship when people are imperfect and above love covering. I believe that ultimately God's. I believe that is ultimately God's role. While some friends may carry those qualities, it's rare to find. I guess I just haven't been lucky yet. LOL. Is my perspective dented, or am I just not lucky? Also, does having the heart of Job mean you are untouchable by people with bad or harmful intentions? I think that was already answered because even with the heart of Job, he encountered. Anyways, Grandma Vika, can you please unmute? And we'd like to hear your voice, and we'd like to see your face, even if it's just a minute, like Auntie Fati did, please. And thank you. And would really appreciate if you can attend to this person's. Oh, I see Grandma Vika. Hey, Grandma Vika.
Mama, you don't make me fall in love.
Hey, correct.
Oh,
Well,
bless.
good.
The funky vicar, I had to unmute. Funky vicar.
Aja. How
Hi
are
now.
you? How are
Bye.
you? Yes,
Missed
so
you,
she's the
funky
only
vicar.
Aja that has a vicar.
Honestly,
Yes, she's my personal vicar.
I'm her personal vicar. Oh, bless. Thank you. Thank you so much, sis. Thank you, Auntie Alero. Thank you, our precious baby sis. She's definitely our baby sis.
I guess so.
Forever, you know. We're also namesake. She's Yade, but she's also Biola, and you know, very few people know that I'm also actually Abiola. We thank you for PED. Thank you for my grandchildren, and to each and everyone that's on this call. We honor the spirit of grace that's upon you. It's such a blessing to be here. Thank you so very much indeed. Baby, thank you. Wow, here we are. So that question is so rich. Sorry, we're gonna have to mute someone.
Everyone except Grandma Vika, please.
Thank you so very much. I want to say, I don't know if Pearl is the name or is a brand, Pearl 360 Design, which is on the chat. This is such a pertinent question. It's authentic, it's real. So does a covenant relationship mean they won't hurt or disappoint? Yes, a covenant relationship actually means sometimes there will be hurt and there will be disappointment, because the covenant relationship is not between man and God, it's between human beings. And so, yes, there will be hurt and disappointment, but because it's a covenant relationship, that is a given. It's not all honky-dory. So there will be times where there's hurt and disappointment, but I believe that hurt and disappointment is redemptive. You know, it is an opportunity for growth. Now, at the time, it's not funny. It's, you know, it's irritating, it's painful and all of that. But, you know, hurt and disappointment is redemptive. And when I say redemptive, handing it back to God, you know, God in the mix, then, you know, there can be a redemption. There's a growth. And very rarely have I been in a friendship with anyone and Alero and I get on each other's last nerves. We do. That's how deep our relationship is. But to be honest, it's not. There's never going to come a time until, by God's grace, you know, we leave the earth where it's going to be like, hey, Alero, Ayida-Otobo, who's that? It can't happen. You know, it is a covenant relationship. But we do get on each other's nerves. We do. We argue. We get, you know, and all of that. But it is what it is. And then, you know, we say what we say, and then, you know, and then that's it. We move on. So, yes, I'm sure she will say to you, because I'm using her as an example, you know, have I hurt her? Probably. Has she hurt me? Indeed. Have I disappointed her? Yeah. Have you hurt? But she might come, of course, can't touch this, you know. So sometimes we have to take a risk. And I want to use that word. Some of us are very guarded and for all kinds of reasons, and I get it. You know, I have a friend who will say that she can't have any more friends, that her quota of friendship is over. It's done. She has a certain quota and she's not ready to take a risk to make any new friends. And I used to wonder, this is very odd. And I realized it's because, look, she's very committed, or he's very committed to their friendships. And it's like, I can't do anything by half measures. So yes, a covenant relationship will hurt, but please, Pearl, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't step out, right? And take that risk and go on that adventure even with God. And yes, let's call out our painful experience. And you know, I'm sure this is the space, and even beyond this call, You know, this is the beginning of Holy Week, right? And it's interesting that Auntie Fatima said she's Muslim. I know that half of my family is Muslim, right? I'm very ecumenical and I'm very interfaith. And I'm happy that Kobe is on this call. I'm going to do a shameless plug for Kobe. She's written a book called this is African Gods, right? So, or Nigerian Gods rather. So
Nigerian
please,
gods.
Nigerian Gods. So
Thank you,
please, can you
Vicky.
put your website or something in the chat and
Wow.
whatnot? Because the truth of the matter is, you
Let's
know,
go
to
ahead
be,
and do that. Thank you.
yeah,
Sorry, please go ahead.
yes,
Sorry.
So to be a Christian doesn't mean I live in a silo. In other words, you know, my best friend can be somebody that's of no faith, right? And all of that. You know, Christianity is, you know, faith and relationship and friendship is not defined by, oh, this person. So I want to put it out there in case some of us on the call feel, well, this my covenant friends only has to be, we only have to go to the same church. It has to be from my tribe. I don't think it works. It works like that. So, you know, be ready to take a risk, you know, in that friendship. And I hope I'm addressing the question. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. Yes, and then she goes on to say that I've learned a lot, but I'm not changing my mind about trusting people. And you know what? It's okay to also say I'm withdrawing from trusting people for a season. But as a person of faith, right, there's a time to also say, you know, I'm going to step back out again. God, help me to trust again. I have a tendency that when I'm hurt and all of that, I withdraw, you know, so self-preservation you know, is kind of like my safe place. But there's a time when I have to say, God, I have to let down my guards, and I'm giving those guards to you, oh God, you know, so help me. So, you know, there's a risk factor, there's hurt, there's disappointment. That is natural. Sometimes I may hurt you, I may disappoint you, but it doesn't mean that we, you know, we shouldn't trust again. To love is to hurt, and to hurt is to love. So, and I'm going quickly. He says, I don't really care about close friendships. I bet you do. You know, that sounds like a defense. I bet you do. It's like you've just, you know, and I'm not being personal. I bet you that we do care about close friendships. My goodness, they're so rewarding. I mean, for me, almost 30 years ago, I lost one of my best friends who was my husband, a man I was, you know, the man I was married to. For 30 years, you know, I've been a widow. But believe you me, I would not, you know, one of the things that has helped me to navigate the space of being a widow are my friendships, are those relationships, right? Those relationships have come to bring healing, have come to bring adventure, have come to bring love, right? And I'm talking, you know, I'm not even talking about, oh, friendship as in like with the man who I want to remarry or that kind of a thing. I'm just talking about my sisterhood, right? Has been the extension of God's grace. So I really do care about close relationships, and so should we all. And even if we don't, it's like, God, please help me care, and Lord, please give me a friend. God, give me a friend. It says it also says to guard your heart. Regarding the point you mentioned about F, why fight for a relationship when people are imperfect? Well, you know, that's part of it. You know, we do fight for a relationship. You know, our imperfection doesn't negate us having friendships or being in a relationship. You know, whether it is marriage, whether it's a colleague, whether it's familiar, in other words, in family and all of that. So we fight for it because it's worth it. And then while some friends may carry those qualities, it's rare to find precious pearl. I don't know if you're male or female, or, you know, like I said, or that's your business name. From today,
She's
you
female.
know, it's female. Thank you. So precious pearl, from today, you know, this evening, whatever your time zone is, because I know we're logging in from different parts of the world, you know, just say, Father, you know, and, you know, forgive me if I'm just going to assume you're a Christian, right? You know, and even if you're not, you can say, Father, right? You know, so, and just say, please send me a friend, send me, take a risk and go on an adventure with God, because God wants to grace you, you know, with the gift of friendship. And I do apologize that, you know, like you said, I've not been lucky yet. But perhaps this is the change. Thank God for you know, for what Auntie Ayade is doing. Maybe this is going to be your coffee, your corner, and perhaps one day you come back on this call to say, hey, guess what, you know. Yeah, and then finally, does having the heart of Job mean you are untouchable by people with bad or harmful intentions? Even if you had the heart of Jesus, you know, his heart, people had bad intentions even towards him. so much so that he was crucified. So let's navigate from a place of fear, a place of doubt, a place of disappointment, and let's say, I'm going to trust again. I'm going to love again. I'm going to go on an adventure again. Thank you. Thank you, Auntie Nyade.
Thank you so much, Grandma Vika. God bless you. Wow. I hope, Pearl, all of those responses you heard and you're happy with them. I pray so. If you're satisfied, if you can just show us by signifying, you can just raise your hand and let us know that you're still here and that you heard the response. Thank you. All right, so moving on very, very quickly. There's so many other questions. So, Auntie Alero, I'm going to let you answer, I think, all of these questions. And then very quickly, we'll bring Apostle Obi Pax Harry back on. She had to, so she's on, currently having an in-person meeting. So she's going to have to, I'm going to prompt her once Auntie Alero is done speaking so she can come back in and just share with us. And by the way, anyways, I'll say that when she comes back. So Auntie Alero, if you can, I'm just going to because they're about 6 or 7. So I'm going to try and group them or just say them.
Try and group them.
Let me group them. Okay.
And I'll keep my answers short. Lord help me.
Okay. All right. So it says, how do I know if my friends are drawing me closer to purpose or distracting me from it? Another one says, how do I introduce hard conversations without breaking a friendship? So I think we should do those 2 first, and then I'll kind
of... Okay. If I need help, I will call for help. This is, like those game shows when they say if you need help.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So the first question, tell me the first question again. Yes, phone a friend.
Yeah. How do I know if my friends are drawing me closer to purpose or distracting from it?
How do I know? You will know because when you share what's in your heart, the way their eyes light up, the way they connect to what you're sharing, the words of encouragement, they will respond in such a positive, wholesome way that is how you will know. They'll even begin to challenge you to say, when did you say you were going to do this? Have you done this? And you'll find that they have, if covenant friends, they will walk alongside, they will travel with you. Remember I said at the beginning that God uses covenant relationships to build. So, and when I talk about building, it is fulfilling purpose, designing, building initiatives. And you find that successful ones, if you want to go far, you're likely to be doing it with people that are in your corner. And anyone who is going to discourage you or tell you, are you sure? When? You will know from the words that are spoken. The words that come from the heart will tell you. And if they're not with you, over time, they will drop away. Because there's something else, and this one I'm going to stop. I also have this philosophy. NEPA has struck, but I can continue. Sorry, we're not Echo Disco. I'm back as Vika Sis will say, back at the ranch. So they'll turn on the generator eventually. But you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes. So one of the what is I going to say now? That how you know as well is.
Sorry about that.
Please continue. I can't remember what I was going to say. It will come back.
What to that is
you said they drop off eventually.
Values are.
Oh yes, that they will drop off. They will drop off eventually. And oh yes, one of the things that I believe is that and it's Apostle Obi Paxari that sort of ingrained that in us. We live our lives in seasons, and friendships are in seasons. So just as you change from winter to spring, spring to summer, and you change your clothes, you'll find that there are some friendships that are in the old that will not transition into the new. And that is usually because they're probably not covenant. They're great friends, but they're not covenant. It's not covenant. Yeah.
Okay.
So then the next question.
How do I introduce hard conversations without breaking a friendship?
One of the things I think, right, for friendships you're sensing a covenant is that it's almost sometimes, for some, it's good to have ground rules where you give yourself permission to tell truth to one another. So, and it's part of it. I think also, if you have a life, I think most of you listening to the sound of my voice, try and have values that you live by. So say, God, what are my core values? What are the values that are important to me? And one of the values important to is vulnerability. And when you're vulnerable, it means that you know how to take off your masks. You don't wear masks with your covenant friends. They see you for who you are. Warts, pimples, everything. You're not hiding anything. And so to start with hard conversations, root it in love and say, look, my dear, I love you, and you know how much I love you. And then you can even talk about things you've done together that confirm that I love you deeply, and then speak truth. So one of the things I remember when your husband and I first met is that we actually decided that we will always speak truth to each other. And that truth can be painful sometimes, very painful. But we had to agree it. And that is how friendships stand the test of time. Many, many times. Speak truth. And you clear the way, you create an atmosphere. You may even have a special dinner and say, just create the atmosphere and speak truth. Be vulnerable and love. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that was spot on. I'm going to have to break protocol and just call my darling mentor, Mama Apostle Obi Paxari. For everyone here, I'm not sure. My husband and I met Apostle Obi Paxari through Auntie Alero. And so it's it's amazing, all of the covenant relationships that have been formed since we met Auntie Alero almost 20 years ago. It's really amazing. They're just such amazing people that she has as friends. So if you recall, when I said before I handed over to her in the beginning that she has friends who are as old as she is. So this is part of who she is. So I just bless God for all of these relationships that have been formed through Auntie Alero. Mama Apostle, please, if you can unmute. Before, can you unmute her, please? And if you're able, I know you may not be able to. Oh, great. Thank you for turning on your video. All right. So that's Apostle Obi Paxari, my mentor. She's more than she's beyond that. She's been the one, like I said in the beginning, who has held my hand, my coffee, my corner. Really, she helped me birth my coffee, my corner, and she hasn't left me. She's been there in all seasons of my life since I met her. All right. Thank you, Mama. Love you.
Okay. That's her way of telling you how much I really love Anna. Do you know, I love this lady. I love Iyade so much that I've had to postpone a meeting 30 minutes. Alero. Hey.
Thank you.
Hey, Alero.
I'm the only
Apostle sis, darling sis, dearest
You
sis.
know,
No, it's on Zoom. I'm seeing you. It's
I
on
nearly missed a
Zoom.
heartbeat, right? I nearly missed a heartbeat when you said that. Also, be was it about discarding
Darling
friends?
sis,
And I was like,
darling sis.
oh my God, did I say that? And then you said, just because they're not covenant, I'm thinking, okay, that's a good arrival.
yeah.
Thinking, Jesus, what's going on here? And
It's,
I want to also really appreciate your friend Fatty, really. Isn't it so awesome? That's what's happening in this season, really, all that she shared. Just to say that, really, we need people like this who religion doesn't necessarily have to separate you from people, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of values in what she shared, like how we've
Yeah.
got to respect. Sorry, good evening, everyone. I'm not really good at, yes. But, it's just really nice to know that love is just amazing, right? A
Yeah.
lot of values that, came out of what she said. I'm a proverbial learner. I want to be where I can learn a lot. And I think that everyone here, I know sometimes if it's not coming in scripture, some people, you know, um, well, you know what I mean. Some people get like they're gonna have a heart attack. Some have migraine. Some have all of this because it's not wearing a hat. It's not just what we think it is, but just here they're just describing what makes the Father happy, that we can all live in unity, and that your values and how you live is what makes someone else, all right, attracted to who you are. So I just wanted to bring that out there for those of us who are attending, that when we come out of this Zoom, are we going to be able to translate this into our life, or is it going to be another meeting? So when I think about she means such a lot to me, to be honest. You know, I haven't got enough minutes. I think we're gonna have to have a session where I talk about her. We have a very independent relationship. As much as I love PED, we're covenant and all, but it's just amazing how, Alero, we're just a whole big family, right? But
Yeah.
there's just, God just gave me a unique relationship with this amazing person. I don't know. And Ian, let me tell you, this is the year that a lot of who you are has to come out. It's a year to be audacious. And you have to be audacious, not just in those glasses, right? Those frames, right? You have to be even more audacious in expressing who you are. And a lot of the things that we go through is to just really make us cower. But there's nothing greater than, just finding that identity that God's given you. I just really jumped in here, everyone, to say that, please, this there's much more that is evolving, and Ian, I want this to be just the baseline of what you're gonna be doing. Okay, what my corner, my coffee, right? We're gonna have to go into really planting those coffee beans. We're gonna take it up
Yeah.
a notch, right?
Global.
So everybody attending, she's about to turn up the volume. Okay, so, so we have this unique relationship. I love her so much. There's a
Mm,
lot that she's carrying, and the enemy thinks if she puts one foot, forward, the enemy, everything in hell just begins to scream, scream, scream. But we're not moving back this time. We're moving
no,
forward. We're not
yes.
even gonna even stop to think about it. It's just gonna be.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you guys are talking about covenant relationships and not platonic, and the
Mm,
fact that, please open your heart in every season. God may just bring you anyone. They don't have to be your comfort. Some
mm,
people have been in their group for a long time. You just covenant your safety thing.
mm,
Sometimes you're gonna have to, discard all those things that you can lean on.
mm,
Even people you can lean on, and be radical enough to receive who God's bringing, for you. There's always going to be that base. Okay. So look at Yi and I. I have a covenant relationship with her husband, and the children, believe it or not, and my entire family. Really, we have this thing with them. Yet there's just something that holds me and her, together, and we have no doubt, she's going to put me into trouble. What time is it now? So I'm gonna go, guys. Please help me love on her, appreciate her, and please don't keep her stuck at this level, because I'm about to push her. All right. So we drank enough coffee, right? And we've been in our corner enough. We're about to up the volume. Love you guys. God bless you. Please remember what I said. Leave
Thank you.
those
Thank you,
values.
sis.
Hey.
Thank you so much. God bless you, Apostle.
Hey, Alero.
Bye-bye.
Love you guys. Love you so much.
We
Alero, you
have to see before you
Alero, you
leave.
didn't say that. Alero, you didn't say that I'm your covenant friend. Is anything wrong?
No,
You didn't hear my name? Anyway, guys, love you guys. Bye, everyone. Yeah.
darling jealousies. Darling
Love
jealousies.
you.
I know I'm in there anyway.
Love
Love you guys. Thank you for
you
being
all.
here on the Zoom. You look
Thank you.
beautiful.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Nice to meet you, Pastor, finally.
Oh, yeah. Look, you God bless you, Fatima. God bless you for your lovely,
And you
like,
too, and you too,
you know
and
what I
you too.
mean? Down
And
to
you
earth
too.
kind of.
Like I said
God
in my
bless
post,
you.
I feel like I know you because of Alero.
I know you
You're
already.
one of her favorite people.
Thank you.
Okay,
You
Alero,
see?
so no pinpoint. Thank you very much, Fatima. Thank you very much, Alero. No, yes, we're from that authentic tribe. God bless everyone. Love you, Yin, and I'm so
You
proud
too.
of
And you
you,
too.
Nyade.
Thank
Keep
you
reigning
so
and keep ruling. Love you
for
so
coming.
much.
Thank you for taking
And
time.
catch you in the DMV.
Yeah, correct. We'll
Bye.
see you soon. All right, so we're going to quickly move on because of time. The next question says, is it okay to take a step back to test if a friendship will survive without my effort? And
Simple answer. Yes. Yes, it's
So
okay to step back.
it's okay to step back. Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
then the next one says, how do I handle friendships I think I am outgrowing without hurting the person?
That's a good question. Who would like to take a shot? Vika. Vika sis.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to take a shot at that question? 2 sentences, 3 sentences.
Yes, you actually said it when you talked about, friendships can be seasonal. I think I overheard you say that at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
and it's
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
I believe it's T.D. Jakes that said, if you remember the story of Ruth in the Bible and Naomi and Oprah, he said Oprah had the gift of goodbye. I think sometimes a friendship can be seasonal, for all kinds of mitigating reasons. Sometimes we relocate. Sometimes we're friendship because of family. So, for instance, maybe raising children together in a season. So there's friendship, carpooling, school runs, homework, and that kind of a thing. And sometimes the children grow. Not sometimes, they do grow, and you find that that network of friendship around that particular circumstance expires, or it could even be a work situation. So we're colleagues, we're working on the same project, in terms of our career, or we're running businesses and all of that. So I think to be able to recognize, to say some friendships are actually time bound, and there will be some friendships where the attitude would be, oh, once upon a time, I remember I was very close to this person. Oh, this person was, somebody, or these people were people that I prayed with, we did life with. But, life has a way of moving us on, and it's to be able to recognize that. But there's some relationships or friendships that, frankly, it's not to force it. And you know what, I also believe dips and turns where it may even come back, you may even go full circle, so it goes away and whatnot, but not to be so gung-ho or nervous about that. You know, so I think that's what I would like to say to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Good answer. Iyade, how many more to be? Uh-oh. Is Iyade still here?
Yeah,
Okay,
she
I
needs
was
to unmute.
muted. Yeah, so we have 3 more questions. And I was saying that I would like to hear from Antibology as well. I would appreciate if she can answer one of the questions. Yeah, but we have
I
3
was going to say that too, that I was going to say,
Yeah.
can she answer one of the questions?
Yeah, yes, would like to hear from her. So Antibology, I'm gonna over to you. The next question says, what are litmus tests to know if a friendship is beyond social media engagement? I bet this is a Gen Z. Correct me if I'm wrong. Antibology, please. Would like to hear your voice.
Okay. I was just going to drop off actually because I have to call Ima. I
Oh,
promised I was going to call her about an hour ago.
oh,
You know,
whatever.
what was the question
All right.
again? Litmus tests about
What are litmus
before
tests
beyond social media.
beyond social media engagement?
Can I push that to somebody and say something that I would love to say about Alero?
Okay, please
Quickly.
go ahead. Fantastic.
There was a question that was asked about purpose.
Yeah.
And it was Alero that actually pushed me into purpose through a very unusual meeting, you know, because I'm an educator and I've been doing my thing, you know, and God had a plan for me that I didn't quite know it was a plan for me. I didn't know it was the plan. So for some reason, God orchestrated a meeting. You know, Alero was consulting with Dr. Ezekiel Stili, the minister, and apparently they had a vacancy. I didn't know about it. They came to Lagos and Alero's bag was left. So I went to the conference, Alero's bag was left there. She had to rush after Dr. Ezekiel Stili. And then I had to now take her back because Femi Edun said, I cannot be carrying a woman's bag all over the place. So I had to take Alero's bag back to the office. And Alero ended up coming to my office. And I sat there and I started talking about education and I was talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. And Alero was just looking at me, not knowing that they were looking for somebody to fit in a position, a vacancy. So she calls the minister, we have found the person. And that was the start of something really remarkable for me. And I will never, ever, and this is the reason why Alero is my covenant friend, because she actually pushed me into purpose. I wouldn't have done it on my own. I was in my comfort zone in Lagos, just having a wonderful time. But I was called to the mountain of education. And Alero was very pivotal in doing that. And since then, I've followed her keenly. When she started the education for, what was the Incubator Africa in TBS, we were there together. After that, we're doing ERIT. Now we're in states and we're doing education transformation in states. And it cannot, I just want to say to everyone that is here, one of the things that the Lord sends us to do is to find purpose and fulfill purpose. If you can have a friend that can stay alongside with you, that makes sure that you fulfill destiny and your purpose, you found a wonderful friend. Do not let that friend go, no matter what, because that is what just makes everything that God has sent you. So I just wanted to say that. And I want to thank you, Alero, for that. I love you so much for that. And I know that you know that that connection that we both have is God-given and is what God wants for us, for Nigeria, so that Nigeria can come to a place of destiny as well. So God bless you. I'll just say that and I'll rush off. Thank you. Love you so much.
God bless you. Love you too. Thank you so much, Balaji. All these things I'm remembering. Oh my word. Thank you for that remembrance. Whoa.
God bless you.
Bless you. God bless you.
Sarah, can you answer that one? What are the litmus tests to know if a friendship is beyond social media engagement?
You know when one, Balaji has answered, you connect, your purposes connect. Two, two, you enjoy, you enjoy the time you spend together.
Yeah.
There's no friend that has spoken tonight that we can sit for hours. Auntie Vikas is We can go out, we will have breakfast, we will have lunch in the same place, 5 hours, 6 hours, we don't get up. And we will do like with just an hour or two. We've done it so many times. We have hangouts, cafes. My love for cafes grew from there. So you can't travel with a friend if you are not close, because there are some times when you have to share the same room. Luckily, we are too old now to share rooms, but at the beginning, we used to share rooms. Now
Alero,
we
talking
still,
about Alero, sorry to
yeah,
interrupt. Talking about
yes,
cafe. Do you remember
yeah,
when you and I were expecting Lukman and Ifena and we told Grandpa we're going out for coffee?
yes. And we went for hours.
We
And then
didn't
it
come back till almost midnight and he was so upset with us. Do you remember? We said
yes,
we're
because
just
he
having,
thought one
we were
of us
both
had
like 8
started.
months pregnant.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
We
so
went,
that I
oh
just
my,
remember the way you talked about cafe. Sorry to jump in.
yes, hours. So that I think that answers the question. If social, it has to be beyond social media to be able to do all of that. I hope that answers it, Yadi.
Yes, that definitely does. Okay, so how can I know who would show up for me without being asked? I think that's a
How
brilliant
do
question.
I?
How can I know? So basically,
Yes.
how do you know a friend who would show up for me without being asked? Like, without me asking. I mean, a friend that, how do I know who would show up
Yes.
for me without being
That
asked?
covenant friend will show up.
Yeah, if the person is a
Isn't that
true,
the, I mean that the covenant friend will show up. The true friend
yeah,
will show up. The friend
yeah,
that who loves you deeply and you love deeply will show up without being
mm,
asked. But they will pick it up. They will sense something is wrong and they will
yeah,
reach out. They will think
yeah,
about you and they will reach out. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Okay. So the final question we're able to take today. If I realize I have been performing in a relationship, is it best to walk away from it, or should I try to be myself to see if it will work out?
It's a great question, and I think it's a combination of the two. First of all,
Yeah.
always present your authentic self. I said it, remove masks. I think when you get to a certain level of maturity, you have to go out
Mhm.
your authentic self and you allow
Yeah.
your authentic self to connect with the other person's authentic self. And if it
Yeah.
doesn't work, you walk away. If it works, you've got a great friendship. So it's authenticity and vulnerability.
Okay. So that would the end of the conversation for today. To the glory of God, it looks like we're gonna have
Hallelujah.
I can't
Yes.
that we're gonna have a part 2. So I'd already initiated with 1 or 2 people who are currently here about the part 2. This relationship friendship topic is obviously something that God wants us to speak about now, and I just really bless God for how this um, has turned out today. Thank you so much, Auntie Alera. I can't thank you enough. I love you. I mean, without
I love you more.
I love you much more, much, much more. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for making this happen. And I've
Thank
thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to hear it. And I hope we're all, blessed and, happy to be here. I hope that we've all gleaned one thing or another, even as we spoke tonight. I pray that God will help each and every one of us moving forward in all our relationships, marriage, friendships, with our children, siblings, friends. May the Lord just breathe on each and every one of us concerning our relationships. And may we be able to choose right. And may we be good friends ourselves. So, like I said, once again, this will be all for today until we all gather again by the grace of God sometime next month. It is God bless you, God keep you, God watch over each and every one of us in Jesus' mighty name. Love you all. and bye for now.
Amen. Thank you so much.